Hi everyone, welcome back to Coding with Bharat channel. So as you know, we have been doing DQ as the topic for this week, and we have arrived at one more problem on this topic, which is shortest subarray with sum at least k. It is a LeetCode hard problem, so yeah, let's get started. Before moving on, if you have been liking the video so far here, do hit the like button on this video, to share it with your friends, and do subscribe to the channel if you are new here. So yeah, let's get started and dive into this interesting problem. So, first of all, the problem says that let's say we are given an array of size n and a number k. So, two things, an array and a number k. Now, what we are interested in are some subarrays of this given array, right? And specifically those subarrays that have a sum of at least k, right? So, any subarray which has sum at least greater than, at least means greater than or equal to this k. And out of all those subarrays, we want to return the shortest length that we can get. So as an example, if we take this as our original array and our sum is 3, right? So if we look at it, we have a lot of arrays here of size 1, of size 2, of size 3, lot of subarrays. If we look at size 1, we have only this 2, only this minus 1, only this 2. None of them have sum greater than or equal to 3. Again, let's look at size 2. So 2 and minus 1, the answer is 1. Size 2, 2 and minus 1, answer is 1. Again, none of them have sum greater than equal to 3. Lastly, let's take the entire array. So the answer now is 3. So we get our answer as 3. Okay. So yeah, given an array, you need to find the shortest subarray which has sum greater than equal to k. Okay. Let's think about the brute force first, how we can go about proceeding with this problem. Before that, I would also talk about some of the possible solutions which do not actually work, right? So one thing that many people think is on the ideas and lines of binary search on answer. So many people think that okay, we if we want to find the maximum length, we can find a mid, check if any of that mid length array subarray has sum greater than equal to k, and we will return the minimum such length which gives us the answer. But the problem with binary search on answer is that it requires your function to be monotonic. What do we mean by that? What do we mean by function being monotonic? So I should be guaranteed in telling that okay, if any subarray of size 5 has sum greater than equal to k, then that guarantees that any subarray of size 6 will also have greater than equal to k. The idea of binary search, right? That it should be increasing or it should be decreasing. But here the problem is that let's say if we have subarrays of length 2 and one such subarray, let's say 1 comma 2, let's say our k was 3. So if one such subarray had sum equal to 3, and let's say we have minus 2, minus 3, minus 4, minus 5. If we take now, so length 2, the answer is true because 1 and 2 sum up to 3. But as soon as we increase our length to length 3 and we try to take subarrays of size 3, you'll start seeing that none of them will actually sum up to greater than equal to k. Right? If you look at any subarray of size 3, because they have now included a negative number, the answer has become not greater than equal to 3, right? Or less than 3. So that is why the monotonic property itself fails here and we cannot use BS on answer, right? So this is a common approach that many people try with of binary search on answer on such problems. But yeah, as you can see, it clearly fails because we don't have a monotonicity in place. Cool then. So let's start and dive into our brute force. It is perfectly okay if you don't know about this binary search on answer technique. Yeah, we'll be discussing it in one of the future videos as well. But yeah, for those who know, good idea to know why it fails also. Okay. Similarly, two pointer also fails, right? Some of you might be thinking in two pointers terms also that okay, we'll increase the window till we get the maximum sum and then decrease and then again try to increase. But again, the problem with this two pointer itself is that two pointers may again you need to have that guarantee that if you are increasing the window size, the sum will increase, and when you are decreasing the window size, the sum will decrease, which is not there in this particular question, right? Had this question have had only positive numbers, right? So clearly see the numbers can be negative. So if this question had only positive numbers, then we could have gone with both our two pointers and our binary search on answer, because we would have that more monotonicity guaranteed that if we increase the window size, the sum will increase, and when we decrease the window size, the sum will decrease. Similarly for binary search, that okay, for 2 if we get the answer, then for 3 also we'll get the answer, but both of them fail as soon as we have negative numbers in place. Okay, so that gets two pointers and binary search on answer out of the question. Okay, so let's get into the brute force and see how we can solve this particular problem. So whenever we do brute force, we think super simple. We say that okay, we'll try all the combinations and find the best. So that is what we can do. We can look for all subarrays, right? Look into all the subarrays, find their sums, filter those having sums greater than equal to k, and find the shortest out of it, right? So what we can do, we can fix an LNR. So we can run two loops to fix LNR. Now we have LR, so we can find the sum. So go over this and find the sum S. Check if this sum is greater than equal to k. If the sum is in fact greater than equal to k, then we'll say that okay, sum is greater than equal to k. We can consider this. So we'll update our answer by saying that okay, r minus l plus 1 is a possible answer, right? That this subarray might be a possible answer. So you'll find the shortest out of all these r minus l plus 1, or the smallest out of all these numbers. So two loops to fix LNR, third loop to do the sum, then if to compare, and then updating the answer. So three loops. So time complexity will become n cube. Okay. I'm not writing this brute force, but I am hoping that everyone should be able to write it. We have been doing it for quite some time now. So those who have been following from a long time, they should be able to write this brute force. Okay. Cool. So I'll give you some moment here. Just pause the video here and think how you can optimize this brute force, even if you can do it slightly. Okay, great if you were able to think. So there are two approaches that we can go for here. We can avoid calculating this sum via a third loop, right? How? What we can do is whenever we have an L and we are moving our R further, then that means when we move our R further, we can just add a new value to our like previously calculated sum. So as an example, let's say I started here and right now my R is here. So sum is what? 4. When R moves one step again ahead, so it goes from here to here, the answer will simply become 4 minus 4, 0. Like just adding the new element into our sum, and that will give us the new subarray sum. So in this case, we can avoid going over a third loop to calculate the sum. Another way, if you don't want to do this, is to simply rely on prefix sum. So if we have an originally calculated prefix sum, you can remember that if you want to know the sum from L to R, you can simply do prefix sum till R minus prefix sum till L minus 1. So with these two options, any of the two, you can reduce your complexity to n square. So yeah, fix L, fix R. Now to calculate the sum, rely on originally computed prefix sum array and do prefix sum till r, like starting cumulative sum till r minus cumulative sum till l minus 1. And that will give you the sum of this sub array that we are considering as of now. Okay. So yeah, this concludes it to n square. Now let's think how we can optimize it even further, because looking at the problem, we cannot even do n square. N is 10 to the power 5, so n square will definitely fail. Okay. Let's look at the prefix sum formula again quickly, right? So let's say we have an array 2, -1, 3, 2, 1, 2, -4. And let's say our k is 5. What I can do is, let me just move this a little bit so that you can see the entire thing. Yeah. So what I can do is, let me calculate prefix sum quickly and store it, right? So what I'll do, I'll say 2, 2 plus minus 1, 1, 1 plus 3, 4, 4 plus 2, 6, 7, 9, and 9 minus 4, 5. Just to make things clear, I'll also add a 0 here. Why am I adding this 0? Let's look at that. So if I am calculating, let's say this subarray sum, how do I go about it? Sum till the end, which is this 6, minus sum till before the array starts. So till here, which is this 5, right? But what if this subarray starts from the beginning? Generally, then in that case, I say the answer is directly this 6. But just to make the things very similar to look at, I've added an extra 0 here, so that what we can do, 6 minus 0, which is going to be 6. This is just a cushion or a buffer element that I have kept, so that in general I can say sum from any L to R, sum from any L to R is nothing but, if this array is P of R minus P of L minus 1. Even if L is 1, we can go to the 0th element and use that. Okay. Obviously, we have assumed that the array is indexed with 1, right? First element is 1, second is 2, third is 3, so on and so forth. Okay. So with this computation in mind, we can change our problem. We can change our problem. Instead of finding the subarray sum with subarray with sum greater than equal to k and the shortest one, I can say that now in the new array, I just need to find two elements I comma j such that their difference is greater than equal to k and they are closest, right? Any subarray sum there is a difference here. So any difference here is a subarray sum there. So I just need to find those two elements whose difference is greater than equal to k, because we wanted sum to be greater than equal to k, and we want to find the closest ones, right? Okay. So there is a little bit of maths here. So let's quickly get into that maths. So let's replace this difference. So what is this difference? P of j minus P of I. I want it to be greater than equal to k, right? Let's say if I am fixing my I, or let's say fixing my j. Okay. So what is I? What is j? I is the previous element. J is the further element. So when I'm at a particular j, and I want to find the best I for it, what I can do, I can move this here and move this k here. So I can say that P of I that I want to find should be less than or equal to, we have moved Pi here, less than or equal to P of j minus k, right? So we want to find that I which is smaller than or equal to P of j minus k. and we want to find closest such I. So for any j, let's say p of j is 5 and k is 2. So you would want to find those elements that have value less than equal to 3, because if sum till there is less than equal to 3, let's say it's 1, then that means when you do 5 minus 1, this subarray will have sum 4 which is greater than equal to k, right? So we have just, like, if you have been following step by step, then you will be able to arrive at this equation, right? So for any j, the question reduces to finding the closest I such that its value is smaller than or equal to p of j minus k. Okay, cool. So we want to find the closest. So we want to find closest, that is 1. Second, we want their value to be smaller than equal to a constant. If we are at any particular j, if we are at any particular j, this second part of the equation is a constant. P of j is constant, k is constant, so this entire thing is a constant. So we want those values that are less than equal to this constant. So the smaller the value, the better, right? So we want to prefer smaller values so that they can be smaller than this constant. Second, we want to find the closest one, so that we want to find the shortest subarray, right? So the closer the I, the shorter the subarray. Okay. So the elements that are opposite of it, that is, they are larger and farther, they become useless. Okay, so let's take an example to further illustrate this idea that larger plus elements which are larger and farther are kind of becoming useless. So let's say we have this prefix sum that we have calculated. At a particular point, we have prefix sum till this point as 3. Another point we have 2. And let's say in future we get a 7. Okay. So now let's try to compare this 2 and 3 and see what it means. So when I take this as my j and this 2 as my I, that means the subarray that I am considering has sum 7 minus 2, which is 5. When I take this I one step back at this 3, then this subarray will have sum as 4. So for any element that I take in the future, taking this 2 will give me more sum, 1. Second, shorter array. So in both ways, this is better. Like we want to have the sum as greater than equal to k. So more the sum, the better. Second, we want to have shorter arrays. So closest again is better. So in both the scenario, this 2 trumps this 3. So this 3 kind of becomes useless now, because as soon as this 2 comes into the picture, any subarray in the future that could have formed with this 3, it would always and always be better to form it with this 2, because sum is more. So there is higher chance of breaching that threshold of k, and they are closest. So there is a better chance of getting a shorter array. So yeah, that is the main idea, that whenever we get a smaller element which is next, then we will remove all the greater elements from the given array which have already come, right? Okay, so with that idea clear, we can think it in terms of we are popping some elements from the end which are larger than the current element, and then pushing our element into the structure that we are going ahead with. Okay. Now, next question is, how do we calculate the answer for the current? Because let's say in our structure, we had certain elements, right? So let's say we have 1, we have 0, we have this 3, we have minus 1, we have 2, right? Not let's just not take minus 1. So let's take 1 here itself. So we have sums as 1, 0, 3, 1, 2, 2, right? So let's say how we'll proceed. So we'll put this 1, we get a 0 which is smaller, and we are getting it after. So this 1 becomes useless now, because anything with this 0 would be a better result. So we'll pop this out and we'll keep our 0. Shorter array, and some will also be more because that 0 will be subtracted. That is in the subtraction part. So smaller is better. Next 3 comes into the picture, we push it. 1 comes into the picture, we remove 3 because we've got a smaller element. 2 comes into the picture, we push it. Again 2 comes into the picture, so it's better to keep this new 2. Why? The old 2 is at larger distance, so we can remove it and put our new 2 into it. Okay, so if you see, when we arrive at this 7, we have this 0, we have this 1, we also have this 2. So we'll start taking a look from the beginning. So we'll see that, okay, 7 minus 0 is 7. Let's say our k is 5. So the threshold is breached of k. So we can take this as one possible answer. So let's say the distance between them is 10 elements. So we'll say our answer has become 10. Now I'll remove this 0. Why? Any of the now future elements, like they come after 7, right? So let's say a future element 9 comes here. That 9, although could have been with this 0, but there is no point because 7 with this 0 already has made a shorter array. So taking this 0 with a future element doesn't make sense because now we will have the longer arrays. So we can kind of ignore this 0 now once it is taken as a combination with one of the elements. Okay, cool. By the way, check for 7 is not over now. We have checked with 0. Now we'll check with the next, which is this 1. So 7 minus 1 is still 6. So this is also a possible solution. And let's say this has distance of 6 here. So we'll update the answer to 6. That okay. Now we have found another answer with 6 distance. Again, we'll remove this 1 and now move on to this 2. 7 minus 2 is 5. So answer is, so let's say if this was 6. So answer is not greater than or equal to our k. So what we can do? We still have to keep this 2 in our array because it has not been matched yet and move on to find a better thing like 9 and try to see what is the distance of this 9 from this 2. Okay. So idea being, how does the idea go? First, take prefix sum. Now the question reduces to difference of 2. Now, keep on taking the elements into the queue. While pushing an element, make sure that you remove all the larger elements from it and only keep the smaller ones. Okay. So yeah, now we have this data structure being maintained in increasing order. Apart from that, whenever you want to calculate the result at a given position, you start looking and matching the elements from the start. If they match with the value of k, you can match it, find the result, and then remove it. Okay, so that is the main idea of this solution, and let's look at into the code now of the same. Okay, so yeah, we'll understand it once more, the entire logic here, just to quickly do. First thing that I've done, I've calculated the prefix sum. So I passed my nums array to the function and calculated the prefix sum and kept it here. This you can ignore. This I had just done for printing and debugging, so you can ignore it. Next thing that I'm doing is, we actually want, what do we want to do? We have now reduced it to a difference. We want to find for any j, we want to find the closest I, such that this condition is true. Array j minus array I is greater than equal to k. I interchange my elements and say array I is less than equal to array j minus k. Okay. From this we conclude that smaller our array of I, better, because there are higher chances that this condition will become true, and closer it is the better. So smaller is better and closer is better. Why is closer better? Because we want to find shortest subarrays. That means the elements which are far and bigger are useless. We would not like to keep them inside our array or our data structure, which is DQ. Okay. So now I've created this DQ and I have initialized my answer as int max. So at any element, first thing that I do is calculate the answer with this element as the ending point of my subarray. So how do I do that? I will match it from the beginning. If the distance is within k, then this is a possible solution. And I'll keep on removing the elements from the start till I find the distance to be greater than equal to k. Next thing that I'm doing, I am inserting my current element from the prefix sum into my DQ. So yeah, find the best and then insert the element into the DQ. So let's look at both the functions. Find the best. Find the best, what do I do? I first initialize my answer as total array size plus 1. That is the maximum subarray we can take, like even more than that. Now, till my DQ is not empty, and what I find is the element at the front can be matched with our current index. So how do we check that? Using the condition that I had written. Array of I is less than equal to array of j minus k. So array of I, I'm trying to make this I, the element at the front. If it is less than equal to array of j, which is my current element, minus k. If this is true, then there is a chance that with this dq dot front, I have found a subarray. So I replace my answer as minimum of answer comma the distance between the current index and the one that I have matched it with. And I do pop front because now this should not be matched with future elements. If it matches with future element, we'll get larger arrays. There is no point. So I have popped it and I'll keep on doing this in a loop. So remove all the elements from the start which can be matched with the current index. And finally I return the answer. While doing insert, what I do, till the elements in the back are more than the current element. Actually I could have written greater than equal to also to remove the extra 2's. So if you want, you can do that optimization. So till the elements at the back are having value more than or equal to the current element, it's always best to keep the current element and remove all of those. So just do pop back and finally put the current position inside the DQ. So yeah, this is monotonic insert, this is find best. So yeah, with these two, I'm able to get my solution, right? Prefix sum, just to quickly look at it, I've just pushed 0. Then every time when I take the next element, the answer is this element plus whatever the last prefix sum was. So psum dot pushback, take the last element from prefix sum and add nums I to it, right? Great. So that is the idea of this particular solution using DQ. We remove the elements from the front when we are trying to match it with the new elements. We remove it from the back when we see that we have found a smaller element and that makes these bigger elements useless. And then finally we are pushing at the back when we want to keep this element to try to match it with the future elements. Okay, great then. So this is about the problem and the solution for it. See you guys in the next one. I think we have concluded DQ. I have taken 3 problems. It is a slightly tougher topic than the others we have covered so far. So yeah, watch this video a couple of times if you feel like you have missed out on certain points. Try to do some simulations on copy pen and then try to see if you are able to get the complete idea or not. Great then. See you guys next week with a new topic. For the remaining of the week, I'll have 1 or 2 blog case studies that I had done in the past. So yeah, see you guys there in those blog studies as well.